things. We've had some really cool projects with Strawberry, with MCR. We've learned a lot of lessons along the way. And so talk to me a little bit about this project and how it came to be from your perspectives.
We thought, how can we make this better? We connected the systems, we unify the data properly, and the client has an easy time just logging in and being able to view the metrics.
What is most exciting about the timing being now to actually take this next step?
So the idea is to build something very scalable now, so we can add new features in the...
If we do this properly, we structurize the data in our backend, make it available, because with AI, we can plug into it easily, because the data is structured, AI ready, and the client can just enjoy all the benefits.
Let's say the biggest challenge, the biggest exciting thing coming out of the second phase, right?
I'm personally really excited about the AI part.
Yes.
So our idea, is to use some AI agents that we can get insights out of the box. So the client would have the control and ask directly.
How do we work with the customers and talk with them about making sure there's the right things in place on the back end for the front end to actually be successful?
We are building actually the platform to be easy to use as well. But the idea is to have this self-onboarding part.
Hopefully everybody that's working in the hotel knows what we're talking about, put it in the settings page, and then they can adapt or change or add in the correct things.
We're back for another episode of Hospitable. Today, I'm in the lovely, lovely city. Well, village.
It is right.
Town,
It is right.
Terneuzen, in HQ, and sitting down with Danny and Quinten about something that, y'all know I'm excited about this. I think everyone's going to be excited about this, and that is our smarter foundation for hospitality intelligence, right? So we're gonna get into it. For those that don't know, we have a blog article about our hospitality dashboard. We also, if you want to know a little bit what our data team, we'll talk about it here. But we did an interview with Michel Melsa about data being kind of our secret weapon. So I'll link that podcast below. But first, I know you've been on a podcast a long time ago. But let's reintroduce yourself to the audience. Quinten, why don't you introduce yourself first?
Yeah, I'm Quinten. I've been working at Omniboost for close to 3 years now. Working mainly as data scientist, data engineer in the data team, and also responsible now for this project to create a product for BI, for hospitality, and basically make the experience for data way better for hotels and restaurants.
I love that. Danny?
Yeah, I'm a data engineer here at Omniboost. Also started around 3 years ago. I'm mainly responsible for the data warehouses, data lake, and ETLs in our data team.
Awesome.
Working more in the background.
Yeah.
The back end.
Yeah, I love it. But as you guys both know, you're more in the background, but you're also very heavily involved on the front end of things, and doing a lot of stuff. So yeah, let's jump right into this, right? So we've had a data team for quite a while. We've been doing some cool things. We've had some really cool projects with Strawberry, with MCR, very well documented from a data lake, data warehouse perspective. We've learned a lot of lessons along the way, and one of them is this project to build a product around a unified dashboard, better BI. So talk to me a little bit about this project and kind of how it came to be from your perspectives.
Okay. So the idea started off as a data team. We were basically working with data lakes, data warehousing, and the clients could connect to those for their PowerBI, or we would create their PowerBI. However, it's not very, it's always a bit of a hassle to maintain those things. It's custom, and the client has some trouble to understand it properly. Because you need to know, you have to have a data analyst at your team or a data engineer, someone familiar with the topic. And we thought, we can do this better. Why not make a proper front end, or start this? So, sorry. We thought, how can we make this better? Because this should be easier. Why not start a project where we can investigate this product, where we create a front end in our standards, in our design, our language. We connect the backend, we take care of all of that. We connect to the systems, we unify the data properly, and the client has an easy time just logging in and being able to view the metrics, their ADR, the revenue, the costs, everything available for them.
Yeah. And I think we are in the right moment as well. So we have been working in the backend pretty much the last 3 years. So even the project that you mentioned with big clients. So we have pretty much the foundation ready now for this kind of product. So yeah.
Yeah. And I love it because I know we talk about it. It's a project to build a product, right?
Yeah.
And that's sometimes confusing, but I think you hit on the right thing here. It's the right time, right? We've talked about this for quite a while, at least as long as I've been here, which is a couple of years now. But timing is everything, right? And so the lessons we've learned from the back end, building these data warehouses, and as you said, when there's this need, and at a base layer, we're connectivity, right? We're a unification platform. We do connectivity. We've added in the data insights, the data warehouse, even to the point where we're doing, kind of, for lack of a better term, document warehousing, or being able to pull documents and create documents or create additional layers of information based on that data. And the connectivity is great. All those things are good. But as we get into a better, more connected world and the systems are getting faster, smarter, we hear AI, ML all the time, the biggest buzzwords in the industry. The timing is now to be able to take everything we've learned from a connectivity standpoint and from a back end and actually start to think about full unification layer with a front end, right? As you were talking about, and making this product. So when we think about it, what are we looking to do? So it's visualization, but it's more than that. So what are we looking to do to create that unified view? And what is most exciting about the timing being now to actually take this next step for a product?
The cool thing about it is if we do this properly, we structurize the data in our backend, make it available. What we can add on is basically the opportunities are crazy right now because with AI, we can plug into it easily because the data is structured, AI ready, and the client can just enjoy all the benefits that we can provision.
Yeah. And this is what we are working behind the scenes as well, is pretty much preparing our infrastructure. We are building the platform itself. So all the backend, preparing for the future, for the new, to add like an AI in the near future after the initial version. So the idea is to build something very scalable now. So we can add new features in the
I think that's really interesting that you say that, right? Is build something properly scalable.
Yeah.
Because as we internally know that maybe the world doesn't know, is that the ability for us from a data connectivity and leveraging all that information is great, but there's got to be the layer of properly setting up to have the data in the flows and then be able to extract that data in different views, shapes, ways, and scalable the cool stuff with AI, ML, the stuff work on the back end. And I think it's really easy to try to think about how fast things can run. And we talk about AI and what it can and can't do. And what it does a lot of things really well, but it still needs humans for context, right? And that context layer is what we're talking about in the back end, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. So where are we at with this project turning into a product? Like, what are the next steps? We've got the back end. We're working through this. What are the next steps in the life cycle that we're looking forward to?
Currently, we are building a pipeline so we can fetch data in a scalable, safe manner in which we can control fully the flows. We are trying now to set up unification layers. So no matter which system you're using for like a POS, PMS, or accounting, we generalize data. This makes it available for the platform, for the front end to use it. So everything is then standardized. And then we can basically, the front end connects to that and can show the metrics basically. So we built the complete backend. We are building it at the moment. The front end is being tested. We are testing out the connectivity. And then the first version hopefully is out end of August.
Amazing. And so when we think about that first version, what do we want to learn when we get that first version out and start testing all of that? What are we hoping to, produce and learn from that? And then what are we excited about to build from that?
What we would like to is like with the first customers, if this first version is there, learn from them, hear their experiences. Okay,
get some feedbacks.
Get the feedback indeed. Okay, what is valuable here? What can we improve? And so that we make the best platform for BI, for hospitality.
Yeah. I think this is really good that we are doing this way, that we're going to actually release the initial version, get the feedbacks, and improve the product. So it's not like we're building something that is going to be delivered and that's it. No. So we want to do some tests, hear some feedbacks, and adjust the product to be really useful for everyone.
Yeah, I think that's really an important piece. And, in the article that we wrote, there's a quote from you about doing this with partnerships to improve the feedback to actually deliver a scalable solution, right?
Mhm.
We can make all the assumptions we want. There's other products in the market that we can look at. And there's many ways to look at data. And data is an amazing thing and it can tell a million stories. But we know that good data in, good data out, bad data in, bad data out, right? So having that feedback and actually looking at what can we scale, what can we create together? Because then the question is going to always be, how customizable can it get?
Yes.
Yes, that's a very good
challenge.
question.
Yeah.
We thought about it as well. For the first POC version, probably that one is going to be static, like with the metrics, like certain pages with certain metrics on it. However, what's in the pipeline and what we are researching is to make those dynamic. So the client can choose which KPIs to showcase on certain pages. And so they have full flexibility in what is on the pages and they can select that. And
so we're going to have a list pretty much of KPIs that are available. And of course, depending on the feedbacks, you can include more with time.
Yeah.
And then they can dynamically choose the KPIs to view.
That's amazing. I think it is really important to the way they're looking at it with kind of more of a static out-of-the-box version first with it's advanced data, but we're going to say the basic package, which is standardized to hospitality standards. We get that feedback and then allowing, and this is why I think we talk about timing in the back end, is if we want to create a customization effect or customizable where we can actually do different things, that base layer has to be great. Exactly. And for many customers, that's going to probably cover their needs. And then there's certain customers that are going to want that layer on top. It is important to note that there's core functionality and there's expanded functionality. And to do that, we need the right backend built into a static POC, into a more dynamic product that we can actually scale to the market. Yeah. Correct?
Yes, correct. That's why we're focusing heavily on the performance and on the backend. So it becomes really scalable to where we want to reach. So we could only build for the static view, like a simple product, but no. So we are preparing everything to have all these dynamic fields and AI in the future. So it's going to be really ready and prepared for the future or any things that we can improve along the way.
And how fast can we get this done so we can sell it? Just kidding. So as we're going through this process, we'll have the POC starting in August, end of August, right?
Yeah,
with the first look, some early tests. When we look at the second half of the year, kind of really delivering that kind of core functionality out, what do you see as the biggest, let's say the biggest challenge, but also or the biggest exciting thing coming out of the second phase, right? Past the POC and we start going, and the challenge and exciting thing could be one and the same, or it could be, we have this challenge, but we're excited about this. What do you guys think?
I think there are many excitements basically after the POC. First off, would like to hear from the client, okay, what feedback do you have, and incorporate that. So to make the product, the base version already way better. Then that modular approach with the KPIs would be really cool if we can pull that off with the front end. AI, because it's such a hot topic now. And then we have AI usable for hotels, which really provides value for them. Additionally, also perhaps the onboarding, some things to think about, make it very easy and out of the box for the client so they understand fully. No need for data analyst anymore, but boom, out of the box, there's your data.
Yeah, I'm personally really excited about the AI part.
Yes.
So our idea, of course, we still have to test a little bit further, but is to use some AI agents that we can get insights out of the box. So the client would have the control and ask directly to the AI agent for some insights that are, and the agent is connected directly to their database. So we could see their data and they could on the fly ask for the average of, their revenue average from the last year or something like this. And the agent will can even build like on the fly graphs and everything. So this is something that we're going to test after the POC. So
or exports, PDFs even created.
Yeah, even created exports. So there are many stuff that we're still researching also.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I think the interesting piece, and you guys are saying this, but what's cool about it is there's going to be your kind of base view, which is hospitality standards based on feedback from, the work we've done, the conversations we've had, and then the POC coming and that feedback. Then you have that kind of customization layer where we can add additional kind of views and things, or they can kind of pick and choose based on the data have in. Again, making sure that it does is going to be dependent on the data sources coming in and what they choose to pull. But then this added layer of being able to do things on the fly is kind of game changing, right? When we think about visualization, but visualization at scale to leverage it to move faster and make better decisions, which that to me gets really exciting. Also sounds scary because well, it sounds easy to do on the front end. We know that the back end has to be set up right, which is what we've done for the last 3 years. But that can be huge for a hotelier or a management company or hotel group really looking at making changes and also potentially modeling if this is happening over the last 30 days and looking at a graph and then making decisions on what they think could happen before. I mean, there's so many use cases for what that data could mean and do. And it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out with the, let's say, plethora of data sources out there, making sure that all of those things are in alignment, correct?
Yes.
And so when we're working with the customers, as we're going through this kind of early process, how do we work with the customers and talk with them about making sure there's the right things in place on the back end for the front end to actually be successful? Is it mapping exercises? Like, talk to me a little about like that process from setting up to a partner to make sure that there's actually a scalable working front end.
Yeah, that's a bit challenging in a way. Like, first of all, we're gonna select the sources. So one thing that we are testing, like, we have to extract the data from different sources, try to make it system agnostic. This is one of the biggest challenges that we have. So different systems, they have a different exports, different types of data. The data is the same, but the structure is different. So coming up with a generic layer. So this is one thing. So also selecting these systems. And the next step, this is also work in progress, is the settings page, pretty much, where the client will be able to do the mappings, for instance, for the accounting categories. So we can properly map each of the revenue categories. So we are building actually the platform to be easy to use as well. So that's our goal. Of course, we're going to test with the POC when it might change in the near future. But the idea is to have this self-onboarding part where the client, together with us, of course, would have the freedom to do the mapping. So we also, of course, going to work together with them directly. It's not like you're dropping the settings page and it's up to you now. No, we're going to work together with them, especially in the beginning. But the goal is the near future, after the initial test, to be easiest to use.
Yeah, what we can add to that is we're really trying to make that settings page as user-friendly as it can be, very clear, structured. So hopefully everybody that's working in the hotel knows what we're talking about within the settings page, and then they can adapt or change or add in the correct things, which we can use then to basically structurize the data and make it general.
By the way, sorry, Rob, this is something that we are heavily focusing as well, I think is worth mentioning, is the user experience part.
Yeah.
So we have also a designer together with Sander, which is our front-end developer, working to build this product. So we're really taking serious the UI part, the
thinking everything through
interface and user experience.
How that experience will be.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is really cool. And the reason why I asked that question the way I did is, as we're going through this process, the partnership, the customer is going to work with us to kind of deliver and create the standard. And as we build that standard, we can actually make that very user-friendly in terms of, here's how to do X, Y, and Z. Because the use case is that it could be the management company setting up this setup for the dashboard, but being used by the hoteliers, right? So they actually don't need to worry about the settings. They just need to know how to use the front end versus the management company, maybe the one feeding, vice versa. There's different use cases. And so the exciting piece is that, and kind of the thing that out there to realize is, even though it's going to be really a cool experience, it's going to be user-friendly, and really, I think self-onboarding is going to be the goal.
Yeah, that's the goal.
But also creating that standard and structure for those things to happen, which is, right now very labor intensive. It's talking with a partner, creating proper expectations, walking them through. And as we go through that, we can build into it. And that is going to be super, super fun and probably happen faster than we think once we get things up and moving. But it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a fun time for Omniboost, is adding that in on top of our connectivity layer.
Yeah. it's going to be a great next step for Omniboost.
Exactly.
Because you're having the data being pulled and having that kind of simplified reconciliation, no more night audit, and then you're actually giving your team an easy to use visual tooling to understand what the data is telling them and make better decisions. It's just going to be a game changer for them. And I know it's something that needs to be set up properly, right? And that's why we've kind of slowly rolled out this process and been building. But it's kind of time to tell the world that we're here, we're coming with something big, and it's going to be a lot of fun, boys.
Yes,
for sure. Yes, we're taking the time now, but yeah, it's going to be a game changer.
Yes,
I can't wait. And so we have things rolling in August. For those out there listening, if you want to see the press release, there's a kind of a first look. It is a draft. It may be subject to change, but it already looks beautiful. I think we put a lot of thought, as you guys talked about, that user experience, but also the user experience of seeing and being able to make good decisions based off of it. And it's going to be a lot coming in, and ready to see where we take it and put things in motion. So do we think that we'll have a little bit more of a sneak peek of the product demo coming soon?
Hopefully, yes. We should have.
Well, for those out there listening, if you're interested, take a look. We'll have some links, and maybe by the time you're listening to this, you'll be able to have a product demo seeing that. If it's something you are interested in, let us know. We are starting to build a pipeline as we go through the proof of concept stage and getting things working. So if it's something you're interested in, let us know. We'll be excited to show and talk more about it.
Yes.
As we close out, anything that any final thoughts or things you want to share for the listeners about what to stay tuned for in your all world?
What I would like to add is that we would focus on self-onboarding, but we are never far away. So the customer can always reach out to us if they have questions or want help or or more explanation. We're always there for them.
And our goal is to build this self-onboarding together with them.
Yes.
So it's going to be open, like in terms of adjustments and anything. So make the best from the user experience. We're going to be together.
And I love that, because I think there's going to be a base version, which I think can be standard, but anytime you want customization, and that's the thing that I think it's kind of our core DNA that we're more than just a phone call away. And that we do know that sometimes we're going to need to step in and provide a little bit of guidance and focus and really work through those things. And also, heck, we might even have some cool projects where like, we don't know how we're going to make this work. We're going to figure it out. Let's go. And that's also going to be fun stuff. So
yes,
a lot of things to come, but we're really excited about the hospitality dashboard, what we're looking to do, creating a proper data warehouse into a beautiful front end that hoteliers, management companies, you out there as customers of Omniboost can leverage to make better decisions, have a more unified, simplified version. And, we wanted to record this podcast and have you guys talk about it because you are behind the scenes as you talk about, and you've been putting a lot of work. I think it's good for those to see and know that these are the things that we're working on day in and day out, and that we have our platform, we have our connectivity, but we have so much more coming. And we're putting a lot of time, energy, effort, resources to really create a new standard for hospitality and not take the easy way out and create something that's going to be scalable and grow with the market.
Exactly.
Fellas, I appreciate you for letting me chop this up with you. I always love getting to talk about our products, as you guys know. Those out there listening, stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of cool things coming. Make sure to check it out. I'll also link these boys' LinkedIn. I'm sure that if you want to geek out on anything or have questions, like they said, they're never far away.
Yes.
Connect with them. Follow along as they continue to build a game changer for the industry. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob.